hello. How tired do I look this time? Podgy. I'm a freelance self-shooting producer-director, currently filming out here in France. Out that window is France, and this is my last day filming before I get my flight back. And I am contemplating the idea of writing a book about being a self-shooting producer-director before I decide never ever to do it ever again. And am I looking at the camera correctly? Yes, I am. Okay. So I went a bit Terry Wogan there. So I am actually looking for a bit of feedback from people to know about their stories. What are their stories as self-shooting producer-directors? What questions do people have if they want to be a self-shooting producer-director? For me, it is probably it's a fantastic job. You get to, travel. If you and eventually you might not always get the job you want, but eventually you can sort of focus in on just doing the stuff that you know. For some bizarre reason, production companies like to use people who have done a similar show to the show they're making. Not that, we literally point cameras at things and press the red button. There's a little bit more to it than that. We focus and we have to know about peaking and zebras and exposure and all sorts of color temperatures and all sorts of things like that, and lenses and angles and what cuts and what doesn't cut, and editorial and what's a story, what's not a story, how to make people feel comfortable in front of the camera, how to get answers short and succinct. So there's a lot that goes into being a self-shooting producer-director, and more than anything in the world, when you're looking through the eyepiece of a camera, you are seeing the TV show in its rawest state, and you are 100% responsible for it. Because there's nothing that the offices back in London can do to decisions you're making while you're in record. It's up to you. You have the show that's going to be syndicated all around the world and make a lot of people a lot of money, and you're there recording it onto a card and a camera. That for me is a role that should be heavily rewarded, and people who are good at it should be used a lot. But what happens is people who are they do obviously try and get people who are good as being PDs, and they have a system of phoning referees. So this is what I want to let me tell you about my thoughts about the job and the problems with the industry. So there's a process of phoning referees where a private conversation is held about you by two people. They can be saying anything. A referee that you think is going to say nice things about you could be saying, well, actually, I didn't really like them. They're a bit troublesome. Didn't really get on with them very well, blah, blah, blah. They can be saying whatever they want about you. Obviously, mine all love me. But, that could be happening, and you could find you're not getting work because of something a referee has said, which is, of course, I believe, illegal. You can't be a referee. You can't give a negative reference. It's not allowed, I don't believe. So there needs to be rules around written references, and say, well, here's my references. It's written. It's not something that they can have a private conversation about. When we're out here, there's massive issue around the hours that we work, because they deliberately, and I know this is a fact because I have it in an email when I requested that all the hours we work be put into schedules. It was said, no, that will demonstrate that you're working more than the 10-hour day, which is the law. And that's my whole point of having it put in. So I want to, what I'm thinking is I need to write a book about all this. Things about the hours, for example, which I always complain about. Well, I never complain about them, and I always complain about them. There's the time it takes to load in the morning. The time it takes to drive to locations is often wrong, because it doesn't allow for refueling. It doesn't allow for traffic. And then when you get there, you've got you're out filming straight away. You're not saying hello to people or discussing the day. There's no meeting time. It's just like bang, you're filming 8:30 in the morning. No, at 8:30 in the morning we're putting the camera, we're striping the card, and we're putting radio mics on people, and then there's like another 20 minutes after that where we're finding a spot to go and film them in. At the end of the day, you can find that you have been asked to do edit notes or something like that as a PD, and that goes for also for the runners or the assistant producers. You're charging up battery packs, tending to the kit, you're backing up the rushes. Edit notes can take like an hour, maybe longer, and you're just not being paid for that time, to be fair. So that's a problem. There's lots of problems with being in the industry of the life of a self-shooting producer director, and any other role, especially, and I'm talking specifically about being on location. So these need to be, well, they need to be addressed. It's not sustainable, and there's too much room for people too tired driving vehicles and an accident being caused as a result of it, which I've witnessed. I've nearly witnessed. So I'm interested to hear from anybody who is a self-shooting producer, director, and who just thinks it's fine. Stop whinging. You're just a whinger. Interested to hear from you. Interested to hear from people who have had problems and what their problems have been. And also you can actually, if you go to my Flooded Twitter account, you can DM me directly if you want. It's @Flooded on Twitter. You can DM me there if you want to have a private conversation with me about it. Because what I want to do is compile. I just want to know if there's actually an interest out there for a book to be written about working in television. I think there is, and I've got lots of stories to tell, including celebs. And well, I'm kind of like, oh, legally, should I say what I've got to say about celebs? And part of me says, yeah, just say it, because if they sue you, it's probably the best publicity a book could get. But let me know your thoughts. You can put them down in the comments, or you can just contact me on my DM me on @Flooded on Twitter. My DMs are open, as they say. Let me know your thoughts. I'd be fascinated to hear them. And why not browse around my channel? It is, I don't know what it is, but I think what I'm going to do is start doing cold takes on things happening in the media world. And when I get back off this shoot, I will be knuckling down to give you my cold takes and my hot takes and my lukewarm takes on various things going on in the world. Okay, thank you for watching. It's always a joy. Take care of yourselves and see you later. Bye-bye.